Today on Public Eye News, many local communities joined women across the country during yesterday's Women's March, and the federal government shutdown continues to affect the nation.
Kayla Bridle will have the most current details of our forecast as Winter Storm Jackson hits the Upper Peninsula, and Max Stevens will have a look at this weekend's NMU victory over Lake Superior State University. Hi, I'm Jillian Wormlinger.
And I'm Anthony Cilia. Welcome to Public Eye News. NMU Director of Theater, Bill Dignight, is featured in a Live Design International online article for 2 sessions. He is presenting at the University Residential Theater Association's winter meetings on January 26th in Chicago. The 2 sessions are titled, Take Your Career Beyond Backstage, Finding Technical Careers Outside the Theater, and Help Your Students Think Outside the Box, Technical Careers for Outside the Theater. Dignight says, quote, these sessions are like 2 sides of the coin. The morning session is focused on the student trying to push their career options, and the evening session is geared towards the professor knowing how to educate the students about these options, end quote. 2,000 people were expected to show up for the Women's March through Marquette yesterday, doubling the attendance of last year's event. Participants came from as far as the Sioux, Ironwood, and Iron County. The event began at 1 p.m. with information sessions from various community organizations in the Marquette Commons, followed by the march at 2 p.m. along Main, Front, and Washington Streets, and a rally at the post office at 2:30. The primary message of the march was to push power to the poll to encourage voting in upcoming elections, both national and local.
On Saturday, Phil and the MSdos statue in downtown Marquette was found damaged. Phil's hat, scarf, and sign are missing from the statue in Phil and the MSdos Pocket Park. Earl Senchuk, the artist who worked on the statue, took 3 months to complete the original work. Senchuk says, quote, the good news is I still have Phil's original hat and the original sculpture of Phil, so I can make a new one, but it's kind of a strange process because I have to make a positive of this. First create a negative and then a positive, then create a little flap thing that's a stamped mold so I can recapture the fabric texture, end quote. If Senchuk creates a new hat for Phil, it will take him 3 days to complete it. And in Irwin Township Thursday, Gogebic County Sheriff's Department responded to a breaking and entering report. Numerous guns, ammunition, and other miscellaneous items were reported to be stolen from the residence by the victim. Officers and members of the Gogebic Iron Area Narcotics Team, or GIANT, later received additional information on the incident, and 2 search warrants were authorized to be executed in the city of Ironwood regards to the investigation. The first search warrant was executed on an Ironwood home where officers were able to recover some of the stolen guns. Officers later on arrested the homeowner for possession of stolen firearms. The second search warrant was executed on a motel room in the city of Ironwood. Officers ended up arresting 2 more individuals on charges related to the stolen firearms.
Governor Rick Snyder has officially proclaimed January 21st through 27th as Michigan School Choice Week, joining dozens of other governors and more than 500 city and county leaders nationwide in issuing similar proclamations. Held every January, National School Choice Week is an independent, nonpartisan, non-political public awareness effort designed to shine positive spotlight on effective education options for every child. Through thousands of independently planned events, meetings, and activities across the country, National School Choice Week raises public awareness of all types of educational choices available to children. These options include traditional public schools, public charter schools, public magnet schools, online learning, private schools, and homeschooling. Amid national discussion amongst the nuclear capabilities of the U.S. and other countries, Michigan police say they have detailed a nuclear attack response plan. The Lansing State Journal reports that Michigan's response to a nuclear attack is detailed in its lengthy emergency management plan. Captain Chris Kelsenke is the Michigan State Police's Deputy State Director of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. He says Michigan residents would likely have more time to respond to a nuclear attack than those living along the Pacific. Kelsenke says officials would warn residents through phones, emergency sirens, and other mass communication systems. Police say residents should get inside and stay tuned if there is a nuclear strike. Kelsenke says that the ideal shelter would be a concrete structure, such as a commercial building. And after the break, we are going to be back with your national and international news. Stay tuned.
Governor Rick Snyder delivers his final State of the State message on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, January 23rd, and this public TV station will be there to cover it for you. 2018 is an election year for the entire legislature, so both parties will try to do something to win your vote. The question is, what will that something be? The governor's speech and our correspondent analysis, right here on this Michigan Public TV station.
Tuesday night at 7 after Nightly Business Report on Public TV 13.
And welcome back. Snow and strong winds are causing blizzard conditions in parts of the plains and Midwest Monday. In northern Wisconsin, a winter storm is expected to drop up to 10 inches of snow. The National Weather Service has posted a winter storm warning for northern counties. Students have the day off in many districts because of travel conditions, including Antigo, Rhinelander, Tomahawk, Medford, and Merrill schools. Forecasters say snow will become widespread by mid-morning Monday and continue into the overnight hours. Early Tuesday, a few lingering light showers are also possible. And senators are back negotiating this morning to end the government shutdown, which is now in its third day. The impasse has forced hundreds of thousands of non-essential government workers off the job. Mola Lenghi has the latest from Capitol Hill, where the Senate is expected to hold a vote.
Meeting's going on still.
Senators met again Monday morning to reach a deal to end the government shutdown.
We're making progress by inches.
We think it's absolutely critical that we reopen government, and that's what we're focused on right now.
Senate Leader Mitch McConnell offered to fund the government until February 8th, with a pledge to take up legislation addressing DACA, the program protecting young immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children afterwards.
Every day we spend arguing about keeping the lights on is another day we cannot spend negotiating DACA or defense spending.
But Democrats want more than a pledge.
We just need a commitment on that that's firm.
The political stakes have intensified now that the shutdown has entered the work week and hundreds of thousands of federal workers have been forced off the job.
In a tweet, President Trump accused Democrats of turning down services and security for citizens in favor of services and security for non-citizens. During the shutdown, national parks and landmarks are closed.
They didn't pass the budget, so we were forced to close.
And half the military's civilian workforce is furloughed. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The U.S. government shutdown had an instant impact on two of the world's top tourist destinations, the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. The National Park Service pronounced that the New York sites would be closed Saturday due to a lapse in appropriations. Late Friday, the U.S. Senate failed to approve the legislation to keep the government from shutting down after the midnight deadline. The Statue of Liberty could not be shackled for long, as she is open to the public this morning. And the congressional dispute over spending and immigration has forced scores of federal agencies and outposts to close their doors. Cuomo, the Democratic governor, says that New York State will pick up the tab for federal workers who operate both the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island, so they both can reopen to the public as of today. And CBS News has just learned the Transportation Security Administration is taking emergency action on air cargo from 5 predominantly Muslim countries. It's part of an effort to stay ahead of potential terror plots targeting aircraft. The new order covers all U.S.-bound cargo flights from 7 airports in Egypt, Jordan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, and affects 6 airlines. CBS News correspondent Chris Van Cleve has an executive report from Dulles International Airport outside Washington.
Good morning. 5 of those airlines serve Washington Dulles, and while all cargo bound for the U.S. is screened, growing concern about terrorists sneaking a bomb onto an airplane is prompting this emergency order from the TSA administrator that's going to require airlines to provide additional specific information about all cargo they plan to bring into America. Information like where a package is coming from, who sent it, how it was sent, where has it been since it's been mailed, where it's going, and its contents. The TSA says its goal is to spot shipments that are out of the ordinary, and this order gives the TSA and Customs time and authority to have an airline do further screening if something appears amiss. A TSA official told CBS News these countries were chosen because of a demonstrated intent by terrorist groups to attack aviation from them. This is all intel-driven. That intel continues to center around bombs hidden in large electronic devices that may be able to get past some screening equipment, something that's already prompted increased security at airports worldwide. Also, intel from a foiled attack in Australia over the summer, where a military-grade explosive was sent via air cargo from Turkey, continues to drive concern. Turkey is the only other country required to participate in this advanced screening program. Other airlines do participate on a voluntary basis, but the TSA tells us the Trump administration is considering making that program mandatory. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Washington Dulles Airport.
And after the break, we'll be back with your weather and sports. Stay with us.
It is a mystery, a kingdom carved into cliffs.
A place of wealth and power.
The envy of the ancient world. Nova investigates.
How were these facades carved?
What ancient technology transformed desert into an oasis? And why did its people suddenly vanish? Petra, Lost City of Stone, on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 after Nature on Public TV 13.
Welcome back. I'm Caleb, and I'm going to be taking you through your weather for today. As you can see behind me, we got a lot of snow coming in. In fact, so much snow that NMU has canceled classes from 5 p.m. onward tonight. And looking at your weather for your current conditions, we are looking at some snow with a temperature of 29, winds out of the northeast at 18 miles per hour, a barometric pressure of 29.90 and falling. And looking at tonight, we are looking at some snow with a low of 22, winds coming out of the northeast at 20 miles per hour, so we're still going to see a lot of that snow coming through for the next couple days. And looking at tomorrow, we are looking at partly cloudy, we may see a little bit of snow in the morning, high of 24, winds out of the north at 20 miles per hour. And taking a look across the UP, we're going to see Sault Ste. Marie up with 28 degrees, 28 degrees also in Manistee, Escanaba 30, and down in Menominee 31. Looking at the western half of the UP, we are seeing that Iron Mountain has 31, 26 in Ironwood. Up in Houghton, only clouds, and we're seeing 27. And back here in Marquette, we are looking at 29 and some snow. Now, looking ahead at your rest of your week, we're going to see Wednesday a high of 22, a low of 9 with some clouds. Thursday, high of 29, a low of 21, and some sun finally. And then Friday, looking at a high of 43, a low of 32, and some more clouds. Now, this weather's really sweeping us, Max, and I hear that NMU was the one sweeping over the weekend.
And it was a great sight to see, Caleb. Our NMU hockey team had a successful weekend campaign hosting Lake Superior State as they swept the series and increased their winning streak to 4 games. The Wildcats won both matchups by a score of 3-2, and with the weekend sweep, they also secured their season series win over the Lakers 3-1. The win gives the Wildcats the Capo Cup, awarded annually to the winner of the season series between the two teams, and the win also secures the Wildcats a WCHA playoff berth. The Wildcats improved to 15-10-3 on the season and continue to be dominant at home, where they've won 6 straight and are now 10-2 at home overall. The Wildcats will hit the road this weekend to begin a 4-game road stretch, starting with Alaska Anchorage. And the stage is officially set for Super Bowl 52, 2 weeks from now, where it will be the New England Patriots squaring off against the Philadelphia Eagles in a rematch of Super Bowl 39. The Patriots advanced to the big game for the 2nd straight year after they came from behind to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 24-20 in Foxborough. The Patriots, of course, are the reigning Super Bowl champs after their historic comeback in last year's Super Bowl, defeating the Atlanta Falcons 34-28 in overtime. The Eagles are appearing in their first Super Bowl since 2005, where they played the Patriots, a game they lost 24-21. The Eagles advance after flattening, rolling up, and tossing aside the Minnesota Vikings 38-7 behind a monstrous outing from quarterback Nick Foles, who completed 10 out of 11 passes on 3rd down, throwing for a total of 352 yards and 3 touchdowns. Super Bowl 52 will kick off February 4th from US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. And we're about halfway through the NBA season, which brings 2 major midseason staples, the All-Star break and the trade deadline. The starters for the All-Star game have already been named, and captains Steph Curry and LeBron James will draft the rest of their teams tomorrow night. As for our regional teams, the Milwaukee Bucks and Detroit Pistons sit at the 8th and 9th seeds, respectively. The Pistons are a game below 500 and 1 game behind the Bucks, who sit at a game above 500, 45 games through the season. Barring an excellent second-half run from either team, it doesn't look likely that either team will make it past the first round of the playoffs, as they'll be likely to be matched up with the likes of the Cavs, Celtics, or Raptors. Milwaukee will host the Phoenix Suns tonight at 8, and the Pistons' next game is Wednesday when they host the Utah Jazz. And with that, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Public Eye News, and we will see you all tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.